literally thought of some more shit. Like, just think about this. Hopefully, this don't go as long as the last one. But just think about some shit like this. If you got stranded in the desert and made it out, think of the story you'll have. Think of the confidence you'll have. Think of all the just experience you'll have, and be able to share or move forward after that. If you think about what's that fucking movie called, Life of Pi, when he was stranded in the desert. I mean, stranded in the ocean and survived with a tiger, even if it's a fake story. It's a story that he can now tell and share with other people, and people want to hear his story. People literally want to hear what he been through, and that's when I say going through hell. It's like when you go through hell, when you actually go through something, people will resonate with you because we all going through shit. The people that be want to fake it and shit like that, make it seem like life is perfect. It's hard to relate to them people. Like when people start being super materialistic, like it's hard to relate to them people because it's not all about that. Even though we want that for a certain extent, but when that's all you got for 20, 30, 40 years, especially if you were rapping for, well, they don't rap for that long, but say you working rapping for 5, 10 years, nobody want to hear that shit that long. Yeah, it was cool on the first 2 or 3 albums, but after a while, it just sound like you stunned on this because I ain't got that shit. At least not yet. So why would I keep resonating with that shit? But same shit with, the people that always want to see perfect. Like, no, bro, life is hell sometimes. And that shit that you go through is what helps you be able to create a story. Will help you, like I say, have that foundation or have something to build on. Like, it's that simple. Like when people have near death experiences, if you was to crash a plane or was about to, a plane could have crashed and you landed that hole, like when you were just facing death, when you was facing the greatest odds, which is death, nigga. Which y'all all have to realize that's what we truly afraid of and why we truly scared to do certain shit or whatever. Starts from there. Just like when niggas got women problems and father problems, like that's the ultimate dad, goddamn. Death, goddamn. So niggas, you can't really move through life until you understand death and not really scared of that hoe no more. Really can work with it and understand it. That's when you can start living life a lot freer because shit. Life is the secondary type shit. Life is your girlfriend, death is your wife. You married to death, nigga. Period. Didn't even have to get into all that. But back into hell. Pretty much, going through that, bro, it's period. That's what makes you beautiful. That's what makes people want to just see your light. That's what gives you light to shine, bro. You believe in yourself. You have confidence in yourself now. In your spirit because you walked through a desert and somehow fucking survived. Now you could attest that shit to God and just be regular old nobody. Well, you might could succeed off there for a little bit, write a little book about it or whatever, but then you probably just be a preacher and that's where the end of that goes. Your motivational speaker, that's where that ends. You might could build some more off there, so let me not say that's where it ends, but you can go a lot deeper than just saying that, oh, thank God for me surviving. Just understanding that you went through shit, you had to fight out shit, and even if God was in you, nigga, be able to build the story where people can resonate and be like, oh, nigga. Like when, for instance, think about that iguana or whatever the fuck that lizard was that made it through all them snakes on National Geographic, nigga. Like, bro, that's everybody can watch that video 10, 20, 30, 40 times because it's like that nigga really made it. Through all that shit, it wasn't no boot. Like you can tell he wasn't lying about no shit. Like he really came from. If he was to tell that story later on, like nah, he did that shit. Other niggas can attest to. Other niggas seen it. That's a bigger thing too. Like if somebody can prove your story, or other people was with you, you had a group, nigga. Now that's a bigger thing. It's a bigger story. It just is what it is. Hey, yeah, like I said, this shit video shouldn't be too long, but just trying to think. There's something else I wanted to say. Like always. Hopefully y'all love me enough to stay. If y'all don't, oh well. Somebody out there one day will be. I just be talking. Someday somebody out there will love me enough to watch the video. The whole thing. If y'all not already there. Like I said, I be talking. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think of other people, just other situations. The Life of Pi is a great one. Um, Fighting British off, fighting the Savage Indians off. Um, yeah, fighting the savage Mexicans off, like just the little certain shit we do, what how we feel about America is because we feel like we had a come up story, break away from your oppressors and start to create. But nigga, that's not. I mean, whatever. I'm not getting into the politics. But yeah, that's why people love America so much because of this come up story. What else we love so much dearly into our heart? I always talk about the underdog period, but you always feel a certain way that for a nigga that like the team that's always been good. Like nigga, you really ain't even a fan. You just trying to look cool on some shit. Like, or you just, I mean, it's cool to like the best team because they're doing the best at the certain time, but it's no real foundation because as soon as another team get good, you gone. So it really ain't shit there for them to hold on to you. Like in a sense, besides them winning, because a lot of teams you love them even if they're not winning. But whatever, the underdog. When people love the underdogs, it's just a different energy and understanding because they're beating a whole bunch of odds, and that's some shit that you wish you could do. So we resonate with a lot of us resonate with the underdogs more than the other dog, the top dog. That's why niggas don't really fuck with Floyd. Like liberals and shit don't fuck with Floyd. Like he a top dog. Nigga ain't never been beat. Niggas want to knock him down, and then everybody that come try to knock him down, niggas gonna like. Why? Because they wish they could knock down whatever oppressor or whatever dude they feel is the top dog that's standing in front of them. So they'll go for a Pacquiao. They'll go for Oscar De La Hoya. They'll go for whatever dude. It's like every dude that fought Floyd was gonna be the next nigga to knock out Floyd. Why everybody always wanted to go? I mean, bro, I don't like this live shit. Oh my god, I do not like this live shit. I don't even know where I stopped at. This how I start reconnecting. And I feel like when you're on the phone with somebody and you just been talking, I look down that house say reconnect. Hoe ass nigga. Well, last thing I know, I'm talking about Floyd. I don't know if y'all got that shit, but I was just saying that Floyd the top dog, and every time somebody wanted to fight Floyd, they wanted to knock him off, or everybody want to see him down. All the media, everybody, well, for the most part, the masses. Floyd was literally be the person that he not the underdog because he the best, but when it comes to fan like likability, he was on the opposite end. Like he was more hated than like he just has polarity. So people still gonna tune in type shit. People hated him so much he was still he was still getting money like that. That's why we was talking about Vic Mensa. Like if he's hated so much, he should still be pretty successful off that. Cause there's still some type of light that's shining that can be used. Niggas, the fucking saying hater is your biggest fan, bro, is very true, nigga. Me and D-Friend talk about this shit. Nigga, the people that want to troll you, talk about you trash and shit, they watch every video more than the people that like you. Period. They always want to disprove you. They always just want to see what you got to say. Why am I so important that everything I say you got to critique? Why do you care so much? But yeah, your haters be your biggest fans, your biggest supporters. They have your most views. They be the niggas that show up the most. Be right in front of your face. And well, not everybody, of course, but snakes. I fuck that saying though, but don't worry about it. Don't think about it. It is. Yeah, I mean that Floyd the opposite. Even though he went through hell, that's why the black community like that nigga. We know he motherfucker then dropped out of school 13. We know black people know his come up story more than other groups, especially because he always fought Mexicans and shit like that. They don't know his story, so they're not gonna resonate with him. They don't understand he our underdog, making money, and now he a top dog. He used to be underdog, even though he always been cold. But his story, just his life and what he had to do to get to where he was, type shit. Even though I mean his dad and shit, his uncle was boxers. Even that don't mean shit. Them niggas was in jail and all that type shit. So it was time he had to figure that shit on his own. So he was underdog for like a motherfucker. That's why black people fuck with him, and why other races really don't, because they don't really get it. Even if he is ignorant and can't read, nigga, he still fucking made millions. You can't be mad at that. Most black people don't give a fuck about school, but they want to be rich, so they go to school. So nigga, there's a nigga that bypass that product, nigga, or that process. Niggas gonna fuck with him. Period. White people fuck with him. Like nigga, most of the rich people drop out. Period. Well, whatever. We know school and all that shit bullshit, but we want to take the easier path, even though it don't seem easy. Well, I shouldn't say easier, but the path we want to take the path most traveled because we think just because everybody else is doing it, that means there's a foundation already there that I can succeed on. That's something I have to do for myself, in a sense. But yeah, going through hell to get to heaven. I feel like I wanted to dive more spiritually into it, but it just wasn't coming to me, so I left it alone. But then I said some shit made me want to start the live, and now it's gone again. Maybe it's some shit I'm supposed to keep to myself. Maybe that's what it is. I said the one shits, but the rest not coming out. I'ma think. People that love me will stay. There's some gold on the opposite end of that rainbow. Here it is. On the other end. Yeah, I mean, it's just really just from my whole last video and just what I was saying about going through dirt. Just understanding that same physical process is the process we have to do internally and spiritually. If we feel like we have to grind this hard just to get to certain physical goals, nigga, imagine the pure spirit that you want to be in, nigga. It's gonna be a lot of hell you got to get in to be pure. Say if you want to make your body pure in this physical world, the detoxing and dietary changes you'll have to make, it'll feel like you was going through hell because there's so many changes that hasn't been worked in through time. They're just the changes that you're trying to make abruptly. So it's going to feel like it's hell. So think about that if you was trying to abruptly change spiritually. It's going to be a lot of people around you that you're not going to be able to fuck with still. It's going to be a lot of spaces that you're not going to be able to exist in. I mean, you can still go there, but you'll be in a cycle, or you'll be participating in some shit that's just no longer as valuable as it used to be. You're out of that shit now, so now it's time to move on. So, like I said, you got to go through hell, especially for us at this time. A lot of people had to look. I'm sorry, I hate when I say a lot of people, but some people had the luxury to have parents that were spiritual or somewhat knowledgeable of self. So, as kids, they were lucky and didn't have to have these abrupt spiritual journeys. Like they've been somewhat aware if they had a spiritual journey for a while. Versus nigga, you going through 18 years of your life and then your 19th life, you're like, oh shit, I'm doing it wrong. Like that's the difference. Like, because it's literally you're changing your habits spiritually and the people that you want to be around and all that different other type of shit. You ain't gonna be able to fuck with a certain amount of people that might just be only fun. You might have to have a part. The people you might have to fuck with might be more business than fun. But when they do have fun, it's all out because why? They have the foundations to do it bigger. First of all, because they're more business than fun. They're not all party. So when y'all slow it down. If you always going out and shit, you're not really saving up, and your experience is not gonna be that grand because it's something you do every day, and it's not something that you're building up to. Versus if somebody was all business, whenever they do it, they'll be able to do it grand because they've stacked up, they've been working first, and now they're really celebrating for some shit, so they even have the energy to want to turn up behind it. It's like, damn, I ain't did this shit in a minute. Just like any other thing that you just finally indulge in because now you have the time to do it. Even if you always would fuck with it before, it's like now I can do it now. When your priorities in check type shit. If your priority is always club first, nigga, they ain't gonna be big. It ain't gonna be big shit. It ain't gonna be your party. You're probably gonna be going to somebody else's shit. Just is what it is, because it's not some shit that you working on and building type shit. Some shit you do every day. Well, whatever. Get out your head. I was thinking too much. Yeah. That spiritual journey will feel like hell. Some people have been on that spiritual journey a lot longer, so they're in a pure state. Their bodies at ease with their dietary needs now, like, period. For me, when I first stopped trying to eat meat, vision would get blurred, time to work out, wouldn't be able to do shit. Now, I know my body, I know where I need to be with how much, I just know how to eat diet now. I know how to eat the food that I need to eat now. When I wouldn't eat meat at first, it fucked with me because I just rushed it, didn't really understand nutrition. I didn't really understand Just diet, period. I didn't understand that shit. I was eating canned vegetables and shit still. Like, it's pointless. It's pointless. You're not eating shit. Even if you stop eating meat, you wouldn't be eating shit if it was out of can. Even though if it got some little nutrition, it's not as natural. Shit been sitting in the can, no light, no sun, for probably months. Least nutrition out there. But yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing I feel with myself. Like I've been rushing it, like not rushing um, my life, but rushing my spirit in the sense of like, I haven't been rushing my spirit, but I've been rushing my life in the sense of I've been wanting to feel like I should be great, I should have all this shit or whatever by now. Like I shouldn't be struggling and shit like that. And that's because I've been doing it. I've been making videos for a year, making a podcast for almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years. Been finding myself for the past maybe 3, maybe 4 years. But nigga, that ain't shit. That ain't shit. And for me to really think I'm gonna just be famous or not famous, I don't know why I'm saying certain shit, but think I'm gonna be rich, famous, whatever, just the basic shit. Think I'm gonna make something off of that. Like, nigga, you ain't really built shit. You ain't really truly found yourself. You got some more shit to learn. And it's because, like I said, it's only been 3 or 4 years, and I've had 18 previous other years before that wasn't doing none of that shit. So procrastination fucks with us in the long run. I talked about this before, feeling like our past hunts us in the sense of the shit that we still have to pay for. Like even though we went to school and we ain't on that school shit no more, it still got the school bills and shit like that. And they still affect you and shit like that. But it's like, man, I ain't even on that shit no more, but it's still out there. But it's the same shit spiritually. Your old habits, your old needs, your old whatever. It's gonna sometimes get at you, and until you really find yourself and realize why you even was like that, it's gonna take a while. But yeah, I know I feel this way. I know a lot of other people feel this way. They just feel like shit's supposed to happen fast, but it's like, nah, it's not, bro. I guess because we see other people pop so fast, and J. Cole just talking about there's no such thing as overnight success, but it's niggas that didn't pop that's been less than, they ain't had that many songs and they ain't did that much shit. Like, it just is what it is, bro. You can't sit here and tell me this nigga designer been in the studio for 10 years and now he popped. Like, nah, nigga. It's some niggas out here, bro, that are literally one hit wonders and they hit the lotto. That shit is possible. Anything is possible. But yeah, it's not like I said, they don't have shit to build on, they don't have a real foundation, so that shit not gonna last. But it did happen. So we be hoping just because we're a year in or whatever, like I said, we want a bigger house, we want a bigger space, especially in spirit. So it's gonna take a little longer. You're gonna have to learn a lot more lessons than other people. And in turn, or is that whatever the fucking word is, you're gonna end up seeing how you more wise than people that's older than you, and have some shit that you used to wish you would have had. Like, like, damn, I wanted that, I wanted this, I wanted that. But now that you good and your own shit, you be like, damn, I'm glad I ain't chased that shit. Period. Like niggas that back in the day, for instance, be like, I fuck this many girls or that, whatever. Like, I'm always doing this with girls or that with girls. Like, if I was to be a nigga like that, I'd just be fucked up in the head, bro. Always chasing women, all about women. Like, no, nigga, that's just not the way to go about it. When every conversation you have is all about women, like them niggas used to seem cool, bro. Like, cause women, like that's what we feel like. That's what we feel like we had to conquer. That's what we feel like we had to do. Like that was status. Sex was status. Like, or being with a girl was status. So the more girls you was with, or the higher up she was, like nigga, that's what made you look better in a sense. That's how you felt like you were somebody by the person you had on your arm. And that shit ended up translating on to later life. So you want a trophy wife where she ain't really got no smarts, but she look good and all other type of shit. Or she used you and all that other type of shit. You end up being a sugar daddy and shit like that. Like, cause you all about women. So when you all about women, nigga, you think you smarter than them, but nigga, you start being trapped in that shit. And they start playing you type shit. You a simp at the end of the day, bro. I know man supposed to be all up a woman ass, bro. Period. That's not cute. I know men that don't like women to be all up our ass, bro. It's just not that cute. We need our space at times, bro. Everybody. It ain't always about being under each other 24/7 or trying to conquer or whatever. It just is what it is. That looked nasty. I don't know if y'all saw that. I actually touched my mouth after I digged in my nose. I wasn't trying to do it. Feel like YouTube, like, nigga, you ate your boogers. No, nigga, it was an accident. And accidents happen. Nobody perfect shit. That made me think of a story, but it don't got shit to do with me. So I ain't gonna say it. It's funny though. Nah, fuck it. I remember I was on this cruise. This don't got shit to do with shit. I was on this cruise and we were just telling stories of shit that we used to do. And just with people, random people, and it was like we were playing some type of card game. It was like truth or dare with the card game. If you pulled the lowest card, you had to tell like the most embarrassing story or some shit like that. So dude started telling a story. He was telling us how he was jacking off, and he was jacking off with like sitting up like this when he was looking down, and he ended up busting in his mouth. I was still baffled to this motherfucking moment. Like, I ran around the fucking ship like, no! What the fuck? And it was the most awkwardest white dude you can imagine. It's like, whoever you thought about when I said that, that's who I'm talking about. That image, goddamn. It was the lamest dude. It's almost a movie shit how nerdy he was. But we was just chilling because it wasn't that many kids that was up at that late on the ship. But he was one of them. And shit, we was the ones just kicking and chilling, doing shit. And that shit was funny when he told us that story. But that just, when I thought about accidents happen, that's one of the greatest accidents ever. Goddamn. Ah, that shit's hilarious. But, yeah, going through hell. I think that might be close, goddamn it. Eating your own cum as a man, nigga, you swallow some pride. You have to swallow your ego, fam. That shit funny. Tasting your own medicine. I'm childish, man. But yeah, man. I bet he won't ever do that again. So in turn, he's more wiser. I don't know why I'm trying to wrap this up. Make this 1 grand point type shit. Well, you really should have learned. Don't tell that story to nobody else. Nigga, I will never forget. Well, I'll never forget you. Tell that story the rest of your life, fam. Oh shit, that shit funny, man. He want to be famous. That's his story. When I talk about niggas walking through deserts, climbing mountains, beating all odds. Oh, I'm laughing way too hard. The beating part. I'm sorry. Oh God, bro. Yeah, man, that's his triumph story. You came up from that. All right, man, I'm done. I'm dead. That was probably the funniest story I've ever heard in my life, bro. Cause like he ain't tell us like he knew, like he ain't tell us like, oh, was we playing? Never have I. No, I don't think we was playing that, bro. I think we was playing that card game. Yeah, even how he told it, or he told it like a good story. He was like, I had lit the candles and shit. Like it was a good night. I might be exaggerating, man, but I swear to God, I gotta ask Darius, bro. I know he remember. Oh, I forgot he was there. Oh man, that was a one-in-a-lifetime story. Well, yeah, that's like I said, you should tell people that story. Write a book, goddamn. A skit or something, bro. That shit'll make you famous. That don't happen every day. And shit that don't happen every day, bro, can seem weird, can seem traumatizing, can seem embarrassing. But you can make a come-up story out of that. I even talk about with trauma and shit. Going through hell, nigga, like, nigga, girls get raped, getting shot 9 times for like 50 cents. Niggas respect you now, nigga. You survived. What? Oh, yeah, you're the trooper. I don't care. Whatever you say goes, nigga. You're good. You're good in the hood. Like I say, what women will be when they get raped, when they flip that trauma and be like this motivational speaker for other women that's been raped and let their victims win and shit like that. There's many women out there that's out there helping their other women that's either recently went through it or currently going through it. Same with women that's been beaten before and been through traumatizing shit like that. Domestic violence, like, bro, it's the same shit. There's other women that's been through it and went through it, and they became stronger and made foundations on it. And now they can relate to these women and help these women. They went through that shit, so now they can help these other women go through shit. It's kind of the same with your pastor. When they tell you they've been through all type of shit and now they're here, so now they can teach you this. They went through all this spiritual journey and they used to be this pimp and all that other shit. Same shit. The come up story. And they fake the facade, but nigga, they don't be having shit that you don't have in you. You're that same nigga he is, nigga, and you keep following his ass until he die and go to the grave and some shit like that. And wait for the next pastor to come along and then tell you his come up story. And you never come up your damn self because you too invested in his life and putting into his church and his offerings and whatever he got going and not investing into yourself. But that's a whole nother story. Because we already talked. Temples inside of you. The only offerings you should be giving is into yourself. Period. Offer yourself some guidance. Offer yourself some wisdom. Offer yourself some motherfucking, some whatever, nigga. Some abundance, goddamn. Give yourself that shit. All that shit you give them. Because, like, think about how hard you go on yourself. But the same person that's standing in front of you went through the same shit, but you're not treating them like that. And they all glorying on that shit, but you look at yourself as wretched. What song is that in? It's in some church song, or it's in a Bible. No, it's in a prayer or something. I don't know, but it talk about being a wretched person. And I remember when my friend was getting married, they talked about walking in not walking in filth, but walking in waste, or walking in something, bro. Walking in the I don't remember, but it was something like just walking through, hell in a sense. They worded it differently. Walking in the burden of the Lord or something like that. As we walk through something like that. Something like that. But it's like, why I even brought that up. Here we go again. You know what I talked about? The wedding shit threw me off. Offering yourself. Oh, just feeling bad or going hard on yourself, but not somebody else. But yeah, I mean, I moved past that. I don't know what I was saying, but yeah. Just understanding, bro, like, we look at a lot of people that we cherish. They've been through the same shit we going through, but we just give them so much more props than ourselves. And in turn, we invest in them more than we invest in ourselves, because hopefully they'll look out for us one day. Period. But, yeah, I mean, for the most part, get off the pastor shit, church shit, because that shit always make me up. A little high-headed. But yeah, like I said, with women having to go through that traumatizing shit, helping their other fellow women, 50 Cent getting shot 9 times, going through that shit, niggas that used to sell drugs, now that's living a normal lifestyle and flip their life around. Like, nigga, that be that story that we resonate with, because we seen how they went through hell and then made it heaven for themselves. Period. I talked about Joey Diaz being that crackhead, or not crackhead, I don't want to call him crackhead, but heroin addict, or whatever the fuck. He used to do all the drugs, man. He called himself whatever. And that same shit, he went through hell, now he's one of the funniest people ever, bro. It's like, you find in that pain, that's where you get some of the strongest shit to laugh at. Period. But if you ain't going through shit, there's nothing really, it's no character building. Yeah, I mean, I want to tie it into movies, because that's the way you get that label and that title from character, or that example with character building. But I'm trying to think of it like when it's a poor job of character building. When you don't give a depth example of where they come from, it's hard to resonate with them. It's hard to connect to that character. But like, I'm trying to give the example. I mean, there's many things that do horrible character building, but let's just use great examples of character building. Scarface is the greatest example of character building. You seen this nigga in the boat. You seen this nigga in the what do you call it, in that fucking containment camp. You seen this nigga flipping fucking hot dogs and burgers. You seen him quit the job. You seen him flip his first pack. You seen him buy his first car. You seen him meet his first the first woman that capsulated his eye that he had to have, and he got her. So many different shits. So many. That was one of the greatest stories when it come to character building, because you seen where he came from, that underdog, bro. Nigga couldn't speak, all that shit. What else? Other this movies with great character building. Pursuit of Happiness. You see him go through each experience like, man, I gotta get this. This is gonna be it. That's gonna be it. If I sell this one, this is it. If I get this idea off, this is it. It's like you keep pursuing it. It should be called Pursuit of Heaven. Like he did whatever he had to do to finally make himself happy and to be in a space where he feel like he can be. I wouldn't say comfortable, but a foundation he can really start building from. Because he couldn't build off the foundation of that shit he was trying to sell in the medical industry. Even though he wanted to build a family, a nice house, a relationship off of that, it didn't work because people weren't buying that shit. People weren't into that shit. The new shit was stocks. New shit was, I don't want the fucking equipment. I want just to put my money into this shit and see, the middleman shit. I don't want the actual product. I don't want to ever have to touch the fucking product. I don't ever want to have to sell the product. I just want to invest in it so you can do it. He felt that was the new era to go into. And to see him have to sleep, to see him sleep in the restroom, to see him be homeless, to see him be with his child through that whole pain and suffering, like, nigga, you see his hell is trauma, and you can see how he gonna put as much passion behind his new foundation because he now know that this is the foundation. I ain't never had this opportunity before, and I'm about to go hard for this shit. Harder than I ever went with any of these other bullshit ideas that I thought was going to get me somewhere, and it didn't. And I still put in my all to that shit. And that's when you look at jobs and shit. Me and my homeboy always say this, like, bro, when we was young, we was like, man, we work hard as fuck for these companies. And imagine if we work for ourselves, how easy it'll be. In the sense of how hard we'll go for ourselves, but how easy it'll feel a lot better because we're our bosses. We're not going to get on our ass even more. I mean, not no more than we'll have to in a sense. Like, it ain't going to be no irrational yelling. Like, if anything, it's going to be some internal shit. Of course, that's just as worse as some boss or some shit, or manager or supervisor, but you know what I'm saying. You be having to deal with internal shit and your supervisor and your boss and shit like that. So you just got your internal shit and you're on your own type shit. And that's a lot better in the long run, at least for me. But yeah, I mean, Pursuit of Happiness, Scarface, great fucking examples. Great fucking examples of going through hell to find their heaven. Even though Scarface lost his shit because he didn't realize how that foundation only lasts so long. He built that foundation, made a religion out that shit, and died from that shit. He got stuck in that shit. What he should have did was start laundering that money and started creating other businesses, which the Scarface gang, when he survived, actually they do. He started making businesses and laundering his money because he can't keep doing that coke shit. So the game going to him if he would have survived. So honestly, yeah, that's the truth. And if he would have survived, just looking at the game, got out of all that shooting and shit, like he thought he was the big bad wolf, and then he seen how niggas will put an army. No matter what, niggas gonna keep coming. Even if you do think you the top, it's gonna be a small nigga that not gonna give a fuck just because you was that small nigga that didn't give a fuck. Same, and you in that same world. King's gonna get knocked off. New niggas gonna appear. So in the game, he would have realized that, survived it, been like, damn, I can't keep doing this shit. I thought I was the big bad wolf, but shit, somebody else was just like how somebody else was before me. I knocked them off, and remember how easy I did it. So damn, I do need to get out this game. Start building some other shit. So that's where you go into the game. You start doing the laundry and shit. And of course, you start having to watch for your head in that game. But it's not a murder game. It's a business game where niggas trying to knock off your business. Say whatever business you start trying to launder your shit. If it's a fast food game, another fast food chain might pop up in front of you or some shit or whatever. Like, business war tactics type shit where they try to end your shit through friendly tactics and just out the spirit of competition or capitalism or whatever, just is what it is. But it don't be no respect when it comes to certain businesses. Like it just is what it is. Um, yeah. Trying to maybe think of another movie. A movie that didn't do great character building and he had all the superpowers. Hancock. Another another movie from Will Smith. I'm about to say Ali. Well, another movie from Will Smith. I still like Hancock, but a lot of people don't like Hancock. But that's because there's this pretty much just a elitist dude that didn't give a fuck about nobody else but himself. It's hard to relate to him. And if you do relate to him, it's probably from a douchebaggish way. So, yeah. Unless you realize his pain and understanding he lives forever and dive in deeper to him. But the surface level people, oh, he's a dick. He don't care about nobody. He's drunk. But he even when he try to save people, he can't because he can't save himself. So even when he tries to save other people, it's gonna come out as a shitty effort because he's a shitty person at the time. Even when he tries, it's just gonna be shitty. Just is what it is. When they be like everything he touched turns to gold, everything he touched turns to shit. Because I mean, that's just his energy at the time. Even when he's trying to do good, it's gonna be a shitty effort. Period. When you're lazy, you can try to be good, but you're gonna have that lazy energy behind a lot of shit. You gotta really break that habit of not being lazy, getting up when you don't want to get up, doing shit when you don't want to do it, like washing the dishes before you go to sleep instead of waiting to do it the next day, which will in turn be the next day. For instance, I remember who was doing it, but I think it was Tony Baker and shout out to the Dad Podcast. That's a good podcast on YouTube. But I think Tony Baker was talking about this. I think it was on there. He was like, when they get home, they have to unpack their bag immediately because if they don't, the bag just gonna be there. Like when you come from a trip and shit like that. So that's how you break lazy habits. Not waiting to do shit. Clean it up when you see the shit. Take it out the trash when they first get full. You know, shit like that. That's how you start breaking habits. And you know, it's not gonna be easy at first, but that's how you start to do that. But yeah, Hancock was a bad example of, a good example of not building his, um, not building his character development right. But that was also a play on the movie because a lot of his character development had to remain a mystery because it had to deal with that woman, which is his Adam and Eve story in the sense that they've always been together. So if we would have knew his history, we would have knew about her, and it wouldn't have been a mystery to us. Which that was the ultimate mystery that helped us understand why he was so shitty of a person in the long run. So the character builder came in the middle of the movie, and a lot of people wouldn't understand that shit. Like you couldn't show his beginnings; it literally would have been impossible. Like they were born together, created together. They were a match. Without him, there's no her. Without her, there's no him. I believe. And even when they had to coexist to be together, but even then they couldn't come together because they were weak in each other. So that's like you can't have love without having hate. But if you bring them together, it starts to be a funny look, a different, a funnier world. But that's just their analogy of that. I don't believe that. Like I said, I understand you got to be the median between love and hate and understand they both together. Don't be so caught up in love. Don't be so caught up in hate. Realize how they both can work for you. Period. But yeah, like that was their understanding though, where you can't bring two worlds together, even though y'all have to exist. One of y'all couldn't exist without each other. So that don't even make sense. But or no, what also I can flip that narrative and how it does make sense is they can be together but only for so long and then they have to split up because it's cycles. Like y'all are eternal, y'all live forever. If y'all don't go through y'all seasons, like nigga, it'll be so dull and boring. Like y'all can't kill each other, y'all can't destroy each other because you in turn destroy yourself. So at the end of the day, the only thing y'all can do is make this if I don't know if y'all seen this when they had rolled the ball, when it was like the ball that has the straightest pass rolls slower than the ball that goes up the hills because the hills make it the momentum, it keeps the speed going type shit. And the reason why is just because the cycles or the spiral type shit. When you run a curve, you run faster through the curve. So in that same shit, with their relationship, they had to make a curve. They just couldn't be this linear relationship. Just couldn't stay together. Or just couldn't stay apart. That's why it came to a certain point where they had to be together, where they had to re-meet and do whatever. Renew their relationship, even if it was a fight or hate or love, whatever. They had to renew it one way or another. That just was the season. Like that might have been a season where they had to fight each other. Next season they come to terms. The next season they love each other. The next season they have a baby or another experience or whatever. And then the next experience be back to fighting again. Whatever experience, like say they create something new, just because they created something new, that don't mean it's gonna be perfect. It's gonna have some type of stress, but then that stress leads to them breaking up again. So they go back to that. That's fall. But then to fall comes, winter, then spring, then summer. So it's just the fucking seasons, and that make the relationship make even more sense, where they don't have a linear relationship. And love hate is not a linear thing, or love is, or if you just use love, that's linear. If you just use hate, that's linear. But if you use love and hate, you create a cycle, or I don't want to say a cycle, but you create a spiral or a curve that allows you to use it more efficiently and more speed or more powerful, I guess. Yeah, just more powerful. There's more torque behind it, type shit. But yeah. I just thought about a swing. I don't know if it necessarily makes sense, but you just can't swing forward. You gotta swing. You gotta go back, up, down. The higher you go, the faster you go. Higher, in a sense, like you swing from one way, hate. Swing one way, love. But nah, I guess that don't make sense. I was trying. You stay in the middle. You're not swinging at all. I'm trying to see how I could tie in. I guess I could talk about being the median. Like, yeah, of course, being the median all the time is not good because it's a season for everything. So that'll make that analogy make more sense. Yeah, you can sit in the middle, and I mean maybe that's when you first get on, and when you tired, you just chilling. You just swing and sway back and forth. You ain't really got a real rock. You ain't really trying to go to love. You ain't really trying to go to hate. Because you understand you're just in that space right now, in a sense. But sometimes you do want to swing. And with that swing, you're going to go into love. You're going to go into hate. And that when you're falling down forward, when you're falling down backwards, feels different. You close your eyes, you feel even different. Like, because when you go this way, you can see you're falling down. And when you come back, you can't see it falling down. So when you can see it, it's probably love, but then when it coming down, it's hate. You see it out of nowhere. I'm just trying to tie it in. But you need that pendulum to even have that ride. Unless you just want to sit still. And it's cool to sit still at certain points. But not all the time. And like I say, I talk about not choosing sides. So, of course, I have to talk about not just being stuck in the middle. But that's where I talk about bringing the middle, being that middleman and pulling from both worlds into the middle, and you start creating that middle world type shit because you're using both spectrums and not just one side of it. But that's my full understanding and perspective. I don't just stay stuck in the middle and be like that side not good or that side not good. Like, no, I like both, so I'm gonna pull for both. So yeah. Any more good character building or bad character building? I love The Walking Dead so much because of the shit they be having to go through. And then it makes it, like when they start getting the grander shit, it makes it so much easier for me to like that shit because, like, damn, bro, they finally starting to really rebuild civilization. And then if they start losing that shit, I'm going to be just as invested because I'm like, man, they came all this way, now they about to lose that shit again. I can't imagine. So that's how you stay invested with certain shit. Because, you just understand the full spectrum of what they've been through. So, in that same shit, look at yourself like that. Stop judging yourself so harshly. Just observe yourself and move from there. That's for people that's at step one. If you don't know what to do, if you just feel like you everywhere, just sit back and observe yourself and be like, why am I like this? Just observe it. Don't be like, this is bad, that's good. Just observe yourself, your thoughts, and when you're in certain spaces, how you feel. Do you feel good here? What makes you feel good about this place? And like, why? How do you feel when you leave that place? Like, for instance, I used to hate my mama used to have to like come get me from my friend's house or some shit like that because I like playing. I don't always like being alone. Yeah, it's cool to be alone sometimes, and it'd be times where I get homesick. So it's like, damn. As a kid, I could have been confused because it'd be sometimes where I want to go to somebody's house and then I'm over there for a certain amount of time and I get homesick. It's like, well, damn. I wanted to come here, but now I don't want to be here no more. I like y'all, but I don't want to be here no more. And it's literally your spirit like, nah, nigga, yo. Damn, bro, I used to have, that shit scared me. I used to have mad stomach problems now that I think about this shit. And they talk about that being a Virgo. But yeah, I had got homesick there. And it's like I like being there, but so I wanted to go there, but now I'm homesick. So yeah. Did you have to walk? Well, I'm about to wrap it up because I even need to make it 45 minutes. Maybe one more example of good character building. Can you think of any movies that got good character building? Hmm. I Am Legend. All the Will Smith movies, goddamn. I Am Legend because shit, just him being
Literally, I was about to say Ali. Like that's the first thing that popped in my head. To be honest.
Ali. Yeah, that's great character building. But that you already know Ali, so it's kind of a cheat code.
Yeah.
But he portrayed that shit good. But I Am Legend. You see him lose his kid. You see him go through his flashbacks. You see his pain constantly. You see him have to lose his dog. You see him keep trying to fight to save whatever of humanity he can save. Like he just keeps fighting and keeps fighting. And that's his going through his hell trying to create a new heaven. Literally, that's what he was doing the whole time. Going through trying to pick up what's valuable, what he could still use in that city or in that world to create something new. Period. He used his old knowledge in the new world to create a whole nother world. And that's literally what happened. Even though he didn't get to see it because, he ended up dying. But, yeah, I mean, in other realities or even in other cuts of that movie, they talked about how he could have survived. But, yeah, um, I Am Legend, Ali. You can even throw in that 7 Pounds movie. Um, Shit, all the black movies coming to my head now. Shit, Hardball, them having to get the uniforms, them having to see G Baby die. When they won that shit, that victory was just so amazing. Damn, what was the other movie I just thought about? But yeah, I mean, it's all type of movies that just show you how you got to go through that hell, and once you go through that hell, it makes you be able to triumph so much easier, or it makes the triumph taste better because you actually went through some shit versus you really was faking. I don't want to get into race, but I am in the sense of like when you see all them white dudes kill themselves after the stock market crashed, like you assume these niggas would be happy because they had all this money and shit like that, but it's like they stole that money and like that literally was like a one in a lifetime opportunity. They wasn't in a sense of they couldn't recreate that if they lost it. Like what they did was one in a lifetime. Like if you hit the lotto and lost that, you don't want to kill yourself because there's no way of recreating wealth because you didn't like it was you got that shit handed to you. So for them, um, a lot of them stole that money or did it in illegitimate ways. So once they lost it, they know that you got to go back through that process when they thought they were probably done doing it, in a sense. But yeah, you see how they kill themselves and was committing suicide versus with black people. We ain't never had shit, and our suicide number is not that high compared to other communities. And I mean, I guess because we've been through so much other shit, not having wealth ain't shit. Versus, other people that don't really have foundations where you can see where they get tested. You can see how it starts to their foundations really start to crack, and they don't really have shit to build on. Like for us, we know we gonna at least survive, but we might not be happy, but we know we can survive at least to to the next day type shit. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't trying to get super race, but I was thinking about Trump also. People that get money handed to them, like yeah, like you don't really be happy because it's not something you earn. But I was really trying to tie it into like conquering shit that's not yours. Like you never really happy till you. I don't know. I'm not them people. But you don't they don't ever seem happy. Wanted to tie it into conquering like land, but I don't think I got nothing. I can use a good example, like Massa Musa. Like he ain't ever invade nobody, no shit like that. And it's probably like, nigga, I create my own shit. I wouldn't want to be invaded, so why would I invade somebody else? But if you always been a colonizer, if you always never really had a home, shit, you don't got no problem with taking somebody else home. That's kind of where I was going with that. Like, yeah, I think I ended there. But yeah, I'm out. Thanks for liking. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for staying tuned. I'm out.